The Why Golf podcast is brought to you by Skyscanner, the ultimate travel hack that searches billions of prices on flights, hotels and cars, so you can feel confident you'll always find an amazing deal. Hello and welcome to Why Golf, presented by Skyscanner. I'm Di Stewart, and for the latest episode we popped into central London to pitch a golf bar and event space nestled in the heart of Soho. There we met British racing driver Chloe Chong, who is relatively new to golf and is a big fan of visiting venues like Pitch to experience the game. Remember, as ever, we've got loads for you to check out on our social channels. Just search for This Is Why Golf on Instagram and Why Golf Podcast on YouTube, and get everything all in one place on thisiswhygolf.com. So I'm here with Chloe Chong. It's so lovely to be here with you, Chloe. I'm just going to give you a little bit of an introduction. You were named the youngest driver on the grid for the inaugural F1 Academy season last year at the age, at 15 when you were signed. And this aims to boost the development of females within the sport. Oh my goodness, that sounds incredible. Tell us a little bit to start with about the F1 Academy, because it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so the F1 Academy was introduced last year, headed by Susie Wolff and Formula One, and its aim is really, really ambitious. It's to get a girl all the way through the ranks up to Formula One level and be, the first driver in probably 50 years to reach that level of Formula One and compete at that top tier with all those male drivers that you see on the telly. So it is an amazing goal from them, and I think the series really boosts to kind of coach and nurture young girls into becoming champions and becoming those top tier racing drivers.
Well, I am so happy that you're on our podcast on Why Golf. You obviously play golf, which is a slightly slower sport to motor racing. How did you get into the golf side of things?
I mean, it definitely wasn't really that natural, I'd say. Obviously you see a lot of the Formula One drivers playing golf, and it begs you to ask the question, why do they enjoy it so much? Maybe it'll help me in some way with my racing. So funnily enough, I live 5 minutes away from a driving range, and I just decided to go with one of my friends at school to have a bit of fun and see what golf's all about. This was summer last year, and I just really enjoyed it, because suddenly you start to understand more and more, and you start to hit, one or two good shots, and then it becomes so addictive. And yeah, after that, I went to Canada to see my family, so my aunt and uncle, my grandparents, and I think they have some really, really nice golf courses over in Canada, and I was super lucky to play with my aunt and uncle.
Oh, amazing. They play.
Yeah, they've played for quite a while. I'd say that one of my uncles is very, very, very good. But yeah, I learnt so much, and I just really enjoyed, having that time to switch off and spend time with them, but also, playing on such a fabulous course, and I think it kind of kick-started everything from there.
Oh, well, I think everyone in the Why Golf office is just so excited that you've started this journey. Now you're going to be hitting golf balls, hopefully, for a few decades to come. But let's switch back to motor racing, and then we'll move on to the golf. And I'm excited to hit some balls with you later on. Motor racing, brilliant talent. When did it all begin?
It began, I think, about 11 years ago. Actually, you could say 13 or 14 years ago, when I was like 4 or 5.
And you're 17 now?
Yeah, I'm 17. And it literally just came from watching F1 on the TV. And I know it sounds really simple, but something about it, encapsulated just competitive spirit, seeing cars go super fast. And I think, me watching with my dad, he's always enthusiastic about sports that he watches on the TV, so I kind of picked that off of him, and it brought me to a point where I was just begging him to have a go in a go-kart, because we were avid supporters of Lewis Hamilton straight from the start, and it was kind of like that moment where I was like, oh wait, I live 30 minutes away from the track Lewis started at, why not give it a go? And it kicked off from there, and ever since I went into a go-kart for the first time, I never really got bored of it. I've just loved every single moment.
Your dad's watching, he's over there and he's smiling. How long did it take for him to actually take you? Was it a few weeks or a few months of pestering?
It was definitely a couple months, I think.
Okay.
I was 5 years old when I started kind of asking him to have a go in a go-kart.
That's so cute. Did you have a little outfit on?
Not quite, but I think there was like a minimum age at the go-kart track.
Right.
So we had to wait till I turned 6 anyway to actually have that first go in the go-kart. And he was just like, Chloe, we can't go, like the circuit won't let you onto the track, you know. But yeah, as soon as I turned 6, it was like a couple of weeks after I turned 6, we went straight there and I loved it.
And how fast did you go when you started?
Oh, not that fast at all. It was kind of like, I was probably like not even driving in a straight line, but just the feeling, hearing the engine in the background and feeling the speed go past my helmet. I think that whole process, and also, you know, the idea of getting better and being really efficient, really fast, I think that's always really interested me. And, you know, that drive to get better at something. Made me keep coming back and start driving in a straight line to be faster.
Well, you got really good at go-karting, and that's led to this F1 Academy that you were signed for last year at the age of 15. It really is remarkable. Tell us how that came about.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't something that me or my dad expected. In fact, we were going to do one more season of go-karting and then call it, you know, end of day, because I wanted to do my A-levels, wanted to do my GCSEs. And
you're studying at the moment, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm studying my A-levels, so that hasn't stopped that progress. But at the time, being in single seaters or racing at high level just wasn't financially viable because it takes a lot of funds to get there. But when we heard about F1 Academy, you know, with the subsidies from F1 and the financial support of the teams as well, I think, you know, it was always a goal to try to get onto that path. And amazingly, after being selected for the Ferrari Driver Academy scouting camp, we got a call from Prema Racing, and they said that they would love me on their team, so it was a no-brainer.
That's a nice phone call.
It was definitely a shock because I think they were in Bahrain, so my dad woke me up at like 6 in the morning and was like, yeah, Chloe, I got a call from them, and you wouldn't believe, you know, we've got this opportunity. And at the time it was it was a bit of a shock because, you know, I had GCSEs coming up in the next few months, and it was all about, you know, Chloe, do we do our GCSEs or not? And it was just an opportunity of a lifetime, so we had to, you know, pick that up and kind of throw the GCSEs away for the moment.
Totally. Did you complete your GCSEs?
I did one that summer.
Okay, that's fine. You were doing the racing, yeah. And this year you're racing in the F4 British Championship. Halfway through the season, how's it been so far? How's it going? Oh,
it's definitely been a mad adventure. Of course, when you're in the UK as opposed to racing on the Formula One package, weather conditions can be quite different. I had to learn how to race in the rain. I've had to learn how to race in, you know, 3-degree weather on track. So it's definitely been a bit of a challenge learning all those new techniques in terms of how to warm up the tyres most efficiently and how to race in those rainy conditions, and kind of have the balls to not look at the spray and just hope that your braking point is the same as everyone else.
Oh my goodness, how do you warm up your tyres? What do you do?
It's a mixed procedure. I think, you know, it's different for every track and different for every weather condition, but there's a lot of science behind it. I've had to learn what core temperature is and how to kind of make the tyres get...
Core temperature of the tyre?
Yeah. How to get the core temperature into the tyres before I start putting lateral load on the tyres. So there's been a lot of physics behind it, and the engineers at the team have really had to, like, give me a physics lesson on how it all works.
Right, so specifically when you're driving, you're thinking about how your tyres are warming up, and you're driving in a specific way to make them warm up.
100%. Yeah. It's like you kind of learn all these sorts of things that you can do to put load on the tyre and what they'll do to induce the heat into the tyre. So, for example, braking will induce a lot of core heat into the tyre. Yeah. So that's a lot of the priority for me and the engineer to see. So we'll go over the data and see how much I'm braking to see how much temperature you're getting into the tyre and the core at the beginning of in the lap. But there's so many different techniques, and you kind of find a way to correlate them with different bits of the tyre, different bits of the tyre. To, you know, there's a layer on the top of the tyre that you have to get off, and then you also have to get a lot of load and a lot of pressure into the tyre before you start pushing.
It's a bit like a golf swing, thinking about 1,000 different things. Yeah. And when you get in the race car, it's very small? Does it get very hot in there?
Thankfully, I'm a very small person, so I've got teammates that are quite tall and are much heavier than me. So it does look like a bit more of a cramp for them. But I'm quite lucky to be quite small, so I'm quite easily put into the car. But yeah, the challenge is the heat, probably in those summer months. Thankfully, again, being in the UK and racing the UK series. Yeah. we've never been in conditions that are too hot.
It's been terrible weather.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. But yeah, during last year when we were racing in America, in France and Spain especially, heat's been something that we've had to deal with quite a bit. Normally you have to get the mechanics to fan you in the car with like a leaf blower or something to make sure that your body's temperature regulated, but I've had many races where I've been uncontrollably sweating basically. And I know that sounds gross, but totally. Sometimes you're going down the straight and you're like, oh, there's like, sweat coming down your nose, but you can't get your hand up into your helmet to wipe it away, so you've just got to ignore it, and sometimes it gets to your eyes and stuff like that. So that is a massive thing to deal with in racing.
Yeah, and I suppose your teammates, you talk about these things, you come off and go, my goodness, I was dealing with this sweat, which I never expected to deal with. So much to compute in your head when you're racing. And diet, nutrition, also exercise, and keeping yourself really super fit when you get into the machine, because how physically demanding is it when you're driving?
I think that's something that like kind of draws a parallel to golf, is that people really underestimate the physical aspect of the sport. Motorsport is one of the most physical sports I've done, and I've played many sports at school and at a high-ish level, I would say.
Yeah, what sports did you play?
So I've played cricket, I've played a bit of tennis when I was younger, and I played hockey as well. So, they're all very cardio focused sports, but you have that cardio aspect in motorsport, but also you're isolating muscles such as the shoulder and the neck as well. So and I think that's the same with golf. People think that golf is a casual sport, and it can be very casual, but when played at a high level, you need so much power and endurance to make it through those long rounds. So on the diet side of things, it is also really important to keep a lot of proteins in your diet to make sure that you're building muscle, especially for us girls. It's no secret that it's so much harder for girls to build muscle than guys. So a lot of the time I would say that I'm working 2-3 times as hard as a lot of guys in the equivalent category to maintain the muscle that I have, and to push the car around circuits like Zandvoort, where it's such heavy load for such a long time.
You've got a really quick brain. You think about so much. It's amazing. You do occasionally cheat with your diet, though, because you arrived here and we did a mic test. And what did you have for breakfast?
Yes, my mum got me a cheeky little Mackey's this morning.
Oh, good mum.
The way I think about it is that I've come back from a long race weekend. I did a charity endurance kart race yesterday, so I think
Where was that?
It was at Butmore Park. It was for Wings for Life charity, and Mark Webber was there, so it was quite cool.
Amazing. And did you win? Was it competitive?
Well, what happened
was... It was charity. You've got to go gently, haven't you?
Yeah. Well, what happened was we were 30 seconds in the lead, but as it's a charity event, we've got you can buy power-ups as part of the charity event. So someone bought us a black flag, so we had to go into the pits and stop for 30 seconds, and then we lost the lead. But we did come second in the end, so I was quite happy with the team, and it was a whole team effort. And obviously we raised about £8,000 for charity, so it was really rewarding in the end.
Oh, brilliant. It's a bit like golf in a similar way. You can buy a mulligan, so if you hit a dodgy shot, you can get another ball out.
I might have to use one of those.
You can use them. But cognitively, and it's incredibly demanding, motor racing. Do you do a lot of exercises with your eyesight, peripheral vision, how quick your reactions are?
Yeah, and again, I think there's something, the same with golf, is that when I was playing with my my aunt and uncle, they were always telling me that I was taking my eyes off the ball, and it's so difficult to keep your eyes on the ball to hit a shot.
Because you're trying to analyse everything.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just a very panicky person sometimes, so it was a bit difficult. But yeah, in motor racing, we do a lot of exercises with reaction time, with peripheral vision as well. Like I've done sim sessions where we've actually put on eye tracking glasses, and we focused on looking ahead as much as possible to be able to kind of see the track as a whole rather than panicking and switching corner to corner. So there is a lot of cognitive training in there, and I think again that's something that's key to being a good racing driver.
Yeah, and so many people don't know about these things, all these skills that you need. And driving with females in the F1 Academy, because this academy is specifically designed to boost the development of females in the sport. What's it like being amongst all those girls?
I think it's a great feeling, but also I think personally I love racing against both genders. I think guys can be very different to race against than girls, and that's something that I've had to get used to this year. But also I felt like racing the F1 Academy was a really beneficial experience into I would say girls are very precise drivers, so there's a lot of strategy behind what they do, and you'll normally get some very, very smart and thought out moves from female drivers, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the racing because it was always so competitive. And also I feel like, you know, being part of the F1 Academy, it's all about development for all of us, so it's not just about who wins, it's about creating those, you know, full well-rounded drivers. So my teammate won the championship last year, and I think we had a really great experience, you know, bonding with each other. She was coaching me a bit, and she taught me a lot about her experiences and challenges she faced in racing. So that was another aspect that I loved about the F1 Academy.
You're constantly thinking, aren't you, about how to improve?
I'd say I think too much.
Right.
You know, it's probably one of my weaker traits, is that I really need to like slow down and just let my body do its actions rather than try to control it with my mind. So that's something that we're working towards for the next race at Zandvoort in a few weeks' time, is that I really need to trust myself and trust my abilities to push the car on the limit, because if you're thinking about every action that you do, and it suddenly becomes a lot more rigid and a lot less precise, you think. So I think that's, again, a parallel with golfing, is that if you think too much while playing golf, it suddenly becomes a bit rigid and a bit bit uneven around the surface.
That's so true. And yeah, slowing down, going to a game like golf, which is it is a power sport, but you're walking between shots, and it is a very slower pace than 150 miles per hour going around corners. Well, you won't go around corners at 150, will you? What do you normally do? What's the speed around a corner?
Well, if the corner's flat out, then it can be that fast.
Wow, okay.
But yeah, normally we're cornering around, I'd say, you know, 90, 100 on faster tracks like Silverstone.
I just need to take a breath thinking about that, and just the fear that would be within me. And you
it definitely is scary at first.
Do you have that fear?
I mean, I think naturally everyone has that sort of fear, like going at speed, the fear of, you know, the tyres not hanging on, the aero not hanging on. But as racing drivers, it's our job to become fearless and to take risks that one normal person wouldn't necessarily take, you know, on the UK roads or the M25. So, yeah, that's part of our job, basically, to not feel scared.
But your parents, Jason is over there, I'm sure your dad and your mum worry about what you're doing.
Oh, my mum 100%.
Does she actually watch?
She has over the past years. In karting, she watched
like this?
less so. But, yeah, I think the first time where she really properly watched was F1 Academy, because it was broadcast on the TVs. She wanted to know what it's all about, you know, why I do it, because she doesn't play that many sports, so she kind of has a more, I'd say, intelligent brain on. But yeah, I think she's really enjoyed, you know, seeing how I progress, and she's really gotten excited by the races and the close races in the Formula 4 Championship especially.
The Why Golf podcast is brought to you by Skyscanner, the ultimate travel hack that searches billions of prices on flights, hotels and cars, so you can feel confident you'll always find an amazing deal. So golf, you've taken it up recently, which is great news, been playing in Canada. You're really enjoying it. What's the strength to your game, would you say?
I'd say that I really enjoy putting.
Putting. That's fantastic, because short games, normally, if you're a novice to the game, the short game's normally the hardest. But
I find the drives the hardest, to be honest.
We'll see shortly. But putting, do you practice your putting? Do you practice your golf?
I mean, obviously, when I was a child and before I started thinking about golf as a sport, you go to mini golf and that's all putting. So I think I sort of brought that into my proper golf game, whilst I'm still trying to learn how to drive properly and be consistent with the long shots. I feel like putting is something that's come quite naturally, especially being a concise person and then looking into the details. I think it's something that's always suited me a bit more.
So detail, analysis, data. We're going to go and hit some shots on a simulator here at pitch. Do you come to simulators and hit balls often?
Actually, you know, the first time that I've been at a simulator is at pitch, so it's definitely a new experience.
Oh, great! Well, we'll enjoy doing it. Yeah.
It's quite fun. I mean, in my future house, maybe I'll hopefully get a simulator in my home. But I'm lucky enough to live near a golf course itself, so I normally go to the driving range, and that suits me a lot as well, because it's just like, you know, you have a couple shots that you're really bad at, and then you have one that's really nice, and you can analyse it over the TrackMan and see where it's gone and how much speed you have on the ball and all that. Yeah. So I really enjoy that aspect of just analysing each shot.
And you've got a set of clubs, have you?
I'm currently
borrowing
using
a
my
couple from here
mum's
and there?
clubs. They're quite old and they're starting to fall apart, but
I'm
you
sure
know,
we can somehow get you some clubs.
oh, that would be great.
We'll try and sort of
I'm
start.
trying to start playing during the summer, like properly on the course, and I think I've got a bit more time, especially with the breaks between the races. So I'd love to go to my local golf course and just play a few rounds with my mates or with my family as well.
You mentioned earlier, you alluded to the fact that there are similarities between the two sports, between motor racing and golf. What exactly are they?
I'd say, a lot of it's very, very similar. Firstly, if you think about Formula One and golf, it's a long endurance sport. Even though you're walking between holes, and in F1 you've got pit stops, you've got to sustain concentration and precision for 3-4 hours. So I think that's one massive thing that drives alongside golf and racing, but also the mental game I think is very, very important. Like with racing, each corner comes up so quickly, but you've got to adapt yourself to that. Whilst in golf, you've got so many situations that you have to adapt to. If you hit a bad shot, you're in a bunker, you need to adapt your game to kind of get yourself out of the bunker and regain those steps. But also in racing, you have so many ups and downs within a race. You can face a setback one lap, get overtaken, but also with strategy and preserving tyres, for example, you could get that place back 2 laps later. And with golf, you could hit a double bogey, but the next hole you could hit an eagle. It's crazy how quickly things can change and how much you have to adapt to different situations. And I think, well, from my analysis, that is why racing drivers love golf so much.
Yeah. Which other racing drivers that play golf?
I'd say
your hero is Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
Well, let's just touch on that story, because last year you met him, didn't you?
Yeah.
And he brought you a bit of good luck.
Oh, 100%. I feel like that's another thing that, is very same with golf, is that a lot of golfers have superstitions.
Yeah.
And when I met Lewis
many.
last year, we had a bolt on the wheel of the car, and it fell off because he accidentally knocked it, I think, with his leg, and
oh my goodness,
he got really apologetic, but it was fine. I was completely fine with it.
He touched the car.
He picked it up. He screwed it back onto the car.
Oh, he screwed it back on. Okay.
And we were so superstitious about that bolt on the car. We were like, yeah, that's perfect. And I ended up starting the race on the front row, so that was probably thanks to him, I think. But no, I do trust my skills well enough to not be too superstitious. I think that was down to the hard work of the team and myself, but that definitely ingrained in my brain that he's touched my car.
Yeah, it sort of hits the subconscious, doesn't it? What's he like? Because he was your dad's inspiration. He is.
Yeah, he definitely was everything that we've seen on TV. He's so humble. He's a great person to talk to, and I think he's so passionate about bringing women into motorsport. So that was something that I thought was really, really great. And he spent a lot of time with us talking about how he faced his setbacks and how he came back from them. And I think a lot of what my journey has parallels to what he faced as well, which is coming through the British ranks of karting and into single seaters, and working his way through adversity into that Formula One seat. So I really still look up to him, and it was so inspiring to meet him then.
You're doing an online class, and one of your classmates, he's a golfer, is he?
Yeah, so I have a Spanish boy in my class called Andreas, and he's playing quite competitive golf, I think. He's done some of the European Tour stuff, so he's always telling me about his time management with the golfing and schooling, and obviously we're kind of missing a few lessons here and there together, so we kind of take it in turns to do work for each other and to send each other work. So it's nice to relate with other sports people, because there's so much that we have on our plate, as you said, and it's a lot to take on as a 17-year-old or just a teenager, managing school, the life of being semi-professional sports people. So it's nice to have that person, even though it's not the same sport as you, but to relate to and to share experiences with and gain knowledge off of each other.
Yeah, totally. And golf, your perception of it and what you thought about golf before you started playing, what was it and what is it like now?
I probably had quite an old-fashioned view of golf before I started playing it. I've never really had many friends that have said, oh yeah, I've been to the golf course, I've played golf, I love golf so much. But actually, as soon as I started playing, I realised how many females play golf, how many females play golf at a high level, and how welcoming the sport is to females. And I think, again, that draws parallels to motorsport in the way that before you enter motorsport as a female, it feels quite outsiderish, and you don't quite feel like it's something that, you know, a lot of women do. But as soon as you enter that industry, you realise so many women are working as mechanics, engineers, driver coaches, drivers themselves, and I think it does open up a whole new world of possibilities in terms of, you know, future in the sport. And I think with golf, definitely for me, it felt like that before, but as soon as I started playing it, you know, it's amazing to have that community, especially on social media, where loads of women share their story of playing golf, and a lot of women are very, very good at it. You know, I watch so many golf tutorials on like TikTok and Instagram.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, you see so many females, you know, teaching people like beginners like myself how to hit a golf ball, and actually I find that so, you know, useful and helpful, and I always go to the driving range and watch over the videos and try to replicate it. But yeah, I had the amazing opportunity to meet Charlie Hull at the beginning of this year. We were doing a forum talk with her, and you know, she's so inspiring, and she's actually like, you know, an amazing person. You know, on a physical level, she's amazing. Like I wish I had that motivation to do all the gym stuff that she does, but also on a performance level, and her mental strength, I think, is something that I really look up to. So again, like, you know, you have so many parallels, and I think golfers inspire sports people and other sports such as us drivers, but also you know, I had an amazing talk with Charlie, and she was quite inspired by my story as well. So it's great to have those parallels and to connect with one another.
Yeah, I think it's really important when you're on that level to connect and then to push on to the next level. You have received quite a lot of attention on social media. You've got thousands of followers now. How are you dealing with the fame and all the fans that follow you?
Well, again, actually, I read an interview with Charlie Hull a few weeks ago that she's deleted all her social media. And I thought that was quite a powerful statement, because she's got thousands of followers as well, and you know, she's performing at super high level as well. And for me, I thought about it long and hard, and actually, you know, I took the decision a few days ago to delete my social media as well. And
really, so you've deleted it, or someone else is dealing with it?
I'm lucky enough to have a social media manager, and they're posting for me, so it all works out really great. But it's made me realise that I can focus on my training, I can focus on my personal life, and also, you know, become really motivated by myself rather than people that I watch over social media. Social media is a great thing, and it's meant that I've been able to, you know, have sponsorships for my racing and have an amazing fan base. But also, as a sports person, you really need to find that way to switch off and focus on yourself for a bit, and spend time with the family, and also, you know, work towards your goals. So doing that has made me feel so much freer. You know, I had 1 minute on Instagram, I think, yesterday, and I was like, it doesn't really do anything for me. So now I've gone cold turkey, and I'm really, really enjoying it, and I can do all the same things that I do, but also put that extra little bit of effort into my racing and into what real life is to me.
That is so inspiring to hear, because I've heard it from quite a few sportsmen and women that in order to get the best out of themselves, they need the headspace, and your headspace goes if you're watching and looking at social media, or checking how many likes or how many comments. And to be able to do that takes such strength. So massive applause to you, but it's working for you.
I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel like a struggle at all.
It didn't feel like a struggle at the beginning either.
No, not at all. I think being a 17-year-old, it's a bit overwhelming, you know, having 100,000 followers, and sometimes you do care about what other people think, and sometimes you get caught up in it, and you get caught up in comments, you know, shares, what people say about you, and all these little minute things that in reality don't matter at all if you didn't see them. So for me, I think switching it off has just freed up my space in my mind, and freed up, you know, inner Chloe, you know, inner Chloe before everything took off. And I think I'm really, really enjoying it. And obviously it's just nice to spend time with the family and do what I love. Like, I love music, and I've spent the past 2 days playing loads of music. I've been probably annoying my dad more than anything, but I've really found kind of a way to chill out and take a break, especially with the break from racing.
Yeah. You say you play music. I mean, I've listened to you play the piano, and it's off the charts Brilliant. I'm presuming you've passed your grade 8. You've passed all the grades.
I had to quit after grade 5 because I just
like
wasn't that good.
Well, you're fantastic. I think you should be on a stage performing, but this is your relaxation, is it?
I mean, I love music so much. It's probably an Asian thing that my dad and mum really pushed me into starting playing the piano when I was little, and I absolutely hated it. But the more that I got,
Thanks, Dad. Well, she's thanking
Thanks,
you
Dad.
now, though.
Yeah. The more that I got, involved in sports and other things, I realised, piano doesn't have to be a struggle. It doesn't have to be a chore. It can be something that you enjoy. You can pick the pieces that you want to play, and I think over the past couple of years, I've really, really just, found myself just sitting at the piano for hours on end because it's been something that I really enjoy. The sound, the rhythm of the music. I think again that plays a lot of parallels towards sports and golf and racing in terms of you have to find that rhythm. So I play so many instruments and I just enjoy that learning journey. I'm someone that never finds anything perfect, so once I play a song I'm like, no, I need to find the next hardest song and play that as well. And I think that's something that comes along with my motivation to perform in sports as well.
Chloe, you're such a total inspiration. I'm going to show my daughter all your piano performances and your performances on the track as well. And what about your golf? Any aims for your golfing career?
I just want to lower my handicap a little bit,
Okay, yeah. What's your
one by
handicap?
one.
You've got a handicap, have you? Have you had time to get
I haven't had time to calculate it, but I think last time I played I got like 110, 120. So
Great, good for you. Listen, it doesn't matter about the score at all. If you pick up a golf club, you're a golfer, and we're so delighted that you play. Chloe, I'm now going to throw you some Clubhouse curveballs. Our first Clubhouse curveball is, if you could choose any travel destination in the world, what destination would it be?
Personally, I wouldn't have a specific destination, but I absolutely love the Alps. For me, my perfect setting would be in a hut in the middle of nowhere on top of a mountain without any reception. I just, I love being by myself and again, playing music, doing the things I love, spending time with the family, with my dog. And also a new hobby that I've picked up is Sudoku.
Oh.
I really just enjoy it. I love it so much. It stimulates my brain. So,
Great, I'll try that.
I think my perfect holiday destination or abroad destination would be anywhere in the Alps and just spending time by myself.
And you ski as well?
I love skiing. I absolutely love skiing. And that would be an added kind of bonus because I could walk out of my hut in the middle of the morning, see all the snow on the slopes and bomb it down.
Yeah, I know your dad's coach and he's very, very good, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a great skier. I'm still yet to become better than him, but that's in the hopes of the future. Everything that he does, I try to become better than him at, and he probably hates it. But I love being the best at everything. I'd say that's my competitive spirit, and that's probably something that I need to work on in golf because my dad's much better than me at golf.
Oh, well, he's shaking his head. He's saying no. Who knows? One day we'll find out. We'll get out on the golf course together. Our second Clubhouse curveball is, when you're taking your golf bag out to the driving range or to the golf club, what snack is in the bag?
Oh, snacks.
Not a McDonald's, hopefully.
Don't bully me for my McDonald's.
Hash brown.
No, I love snacks. That's something about being an athlete that I get to enjoy, is that, you work so hard that you don't really feel guilty, having the odd cheat meal or two.
If you've got sweat dripping off your nose, you can have anything.
Exactly. Yeah. I'd say I'm much more of a savoury person than a sweet person.
Oh, okay.
So something that I've really loved recently, I would say it's something that I bring to the golf course. Actually, no, I'm not going to say that because it's something that I have to bring to the golf course. I'd probably say popcorn. I love popcorn. It's something that I've never really liked as a kid, but I think your taste evolves when you grow up. And
so you're going salty route?
Well, actually, I love sweet and salty popcorn. And I know that's a really unpopular opinion.
No.
But I love sweet and salty popcorn. It's the best thing ever. It's like a revelation for me.
Okay. I'm definitely sweet. Chocolate all day. Are you a chocolate lover?
Not really.
Oh gosh,
I don't really bear that well with lactose, so I've got to kind of limit my intake of that. But I do enjoy a nice chocolate eclair once in a while.
Lovely, with a bit of cream in.
Yeah.
Okay, and our final Clubhouse curveball. If you could go out on the golf course with 3 racing drivers, who would the 3 racing drivers be in your 4-ball
I'd say my teammate from last year, Marta, because she's just really funny. I don't know if she's any good at golf, but she's just really funny.
She's just come with you, okay?
Probably Lando Norris, because I think he's a really, really good golfer.
Yeah.
And also Carlos Sainz. You know, I have the McLaren lot from a couple of years ago. I think they're both very, very good at golf, and they could teach me a lot of how to improve my game.
Yeah, Carlos, he played in the Ryder Cup Celebrity Game, and he was really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I really look up to them. I'm very much super beginner compared to what they're doing.
I'm sure one day that will all come about. You can play that 4-ball. Our final question, Chloe, is the name of the podcast, Why Golf? Why do you play it? Why do you feel that others should play it? What do you get from it?
I think it's a really accessible game, and I think that it's all about accessibility, especially after a tough race weekend. It's nice to reset and do something a little slower paced, but also it's also super rewarding when you hit a good shot, and you've got 18 holes on a golf course. Sometimes you play 9, but every shot is a new opportunity to succeed. And I think as a racing car driver, just switching off and playing a round of golf with friends, with family, I think it's a nice way to just again go somewhere different than driving a race car at 150 mile per hour.
Escapism.
Exactly, it's escapism. And also when you play golf, you sometimes can switch your phone off, and you switch your phone off for 4 hours at a time. And I love driving golf buggies, so
me too.
It's so much fun, isn't it? Yeah.
So why does that not surprise me about you?
That's the added bonus. That's the why golf. It's because of the golf buggies.
Yes, got to get carts. Yeah, every American I play with, they don't want to walk, they want to get a cart.
It's so much fun. I just love it.
Oh, good stuff. Chloe, thank you so much for being on our podcast, and we look forward to seeing you play golf, a lot more golf, and also good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Di. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.